Hi Gemini, welcome to Stardust Astrology. This is your monthly forecast for November 2016, and this is going to apply if you have your Ascendant or Moon in Gemini to the largest extent, to a bit lesser extent if you have your Sun in Gemini, in which case this will mostly reflect on your vitality and career. This can even apply if you have your Aruda Lagna in Gemini, in which case it will describe what the world around you sees about you this month. And even if you have your Atmakaraka in Gemini, then you're going to feel it very personally. I'm using Vedic Sidereal positions, which means that we are currently in the month of Libra, not Scorpio. Scorpio would be for Western astrology lovers. And when I look at your chart, the first thing that strikes here is that this month all of the planets are positioned on one side of Rahu Ketu axis. And this is happening for all of us. It is just that it is affecting different houses, meaning different areas of life for every zodiac sign. And above that, all the planets are moving direct. This means that there is some kind of imbalance in our lives that we are dealing with at the moment. And for you guys, this is happening or all planets are positioned in houses 4, 5, 6, and 7, which mostly has to do with relatively private area of your life. But then later in the month, in the 7th house and the 8th house will be more triggered, which are more like houses concerned with other people. Now, Sun has been transiting Libra, which is your 5th house, from the 17th of October. And when Sun comes to transit your 5th house, it's time to express yourself, because Sun actually belongs to the 5th house. This is the natural house of the Sun, where we feel most comfortable expressing who we really are to the world. Now, Sun is in Libra simultaneously in your 5th house, so while you are expressing yourself, you're gonna do that in diplomatic manner, trying not to offend or put off any other person in your vicinity. But this is generally the characteristic of you guys. If you express yourself, this is in a very diplomatic manner. This is in a very balanced and cool way. And when Sun comes to this area of your chart, it is time to show what you know, to show what you love, to show where your talents are. The house where the Sun is moving is the area where we invest a lot of our focus. Wherever Sun goes, it illuminates this area of your life. And this is even the time where you can see that you let's say neglected a specific area of your life, and now suddenly you become aware that this needs to be revitalized. And in this case, if we are talking about the 5th house, the things that are ruled by the 5th house is anything creative about you, anything where you like to express who you are, sports that you like to do, anything where you need to compete and enjoy it, creative projects, going to the movies or making movies or even playing roles in the movies, going to the theater or playing a role at the theater, being a superstar, playing a musical instrument, romance, lovers, dates, children, our education, actually a part of our education, colleges, maybe even PhDs sometimes can be seen from the 5th house. So all of this gets illuminated while the Sun is transiting here. It means your focus is now there. Also, all kind of speculative business, like betting, for example, or investing somewhere where you don't know if there will be any returns and how big they're going to be, you know, like stock markets, for example, politics also. So, those of you guys who are involved in politics, this is going to shake you up a little bit. And so this area has been illuminating from the 17th of October, and on the 29th, not 29th, the 30th of October, there is a new moon in this area of your life. And wherever we have new moon, it is time to initiate and start something new there. New moon was at the end of October, so we are carrying the energies of this new moon throughout November, and the greatest time to start anything new related to any of these areas would be the first 2 weeks of November before the full moon, which will be on November 14th. Now, with the new moon here, you can start a new creative project. You can do it alone, or if you're working, this could be a new creative project that you start at work. You could start a new romance. You could get pregnant. You could go to the movies, or if you're into acting, you could perform and do really well at this time. You could be a guest on a TV or a radio show, for example. You could have your own moment of fame because the fifth house does rule fame. You could play because this is also the house where we play, and you could even start learning something. Yes, if you guys have children, this will be the time to focus on your children now. Now, this new moon is conjunct Mercury, and Mercury is the planet which rules you guys. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so this puts even more emphasis on the matters of the fifth house. And this new moon, apart from being in Libra, which is balanced, which means that all of these things will be started in a balanced way, is also placed in the nakshatra called Swati. Swati is a nakshatra which is ruled by Rahu. So this new moon will have flavors of both Rahu, which rules the nakshatra, and Venus, which rules the sign of Libra. And let's say that you are single and that this is the month when you meet a new person. Well, there are big chances that this person will be somebody that you meet online. Their personality could be roaming, wandering. Swati people do not like to stick to one place. They like to roam around freely. They appreciate their freedom very much. At the same time, Venus, which is ruling this new moon, is together with Saturn in Scorpio in a nakshatra called Jeshta. So this could be someone who is a bit older than you. This could be someone who is an achiever in the position of authority or power. And since this is all happening in your sixth house, this could even be somebody that you meet during something that you do every day. Like, for example, you meet them in your office, or they are your colleague. You get a new colleague and then you fall in love with them. You could even meet them in your gym. You could meet them at the doctor's office. You could meet them while you're walking your pet around. You could meet them while doing something that you do, every day, like your everyday routine. It could also be somebody from your team, somebody from your immediate environment, somebody, again, strong emphasis on online relationships. I mean, meeting people online, because Rahu, who also rules this new moon, is in the third house, which again points to communication. If you already have a serious relationship, this could be a good time to, let's say, get pregnant. You could get pregnant, and even if you had some troubles getting pregnant, uh, this could be an, let's say, in vitro pregnancy, which gives results, because Swati would support something like that. And with Venus and Saturn in the sixth house, you could have a doctor who really does this well, and you become happily pregnant. Um, if we are talking about showing your talents here, this would be a great month for you guys who play musical instruments, especially those instruments which have strings, like for example guitar or violin. This could be a great month to show to the world what you're doing, to have some kind of performance, right? And maybe even start making money from that. Why not? This is a great month to start making money from your creative projects. If you have a creative project that you are planning to launch online, like for example, you invented a video game or some kind of new platform, or you launch a Facebook page or a YouTube channel, this is something that could become your everyday routine, and something that eventually could make you money, because Venus is in the sixth house, and sixth house is second to the fifth, meaning it supports it. So if you're planning on doing anything like that, just go ahead. Now, let me see if I forgot to tell you something more about this. Yes, if you guys have children, this could be the month where your children are thrown into the spotlight, or they start something new. If they are grown up, they could start making their own money. If you guys are into stock markets or investments, this would be a good month to start doing that online as your everyday routine. You could even have some gains in the first 2 weeks of this if you play this smartly. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do that. You would have to see your chart in detail for this kind of activities, and if you're planning to invest your money on something, be careful with that, because with Venus in the sixth house, it could be that you take a loan in order to invest in something. If you're planning on doing something like that, I would consult somebody seriously before doing that. Another thing that could happen with this new moon in the fifth house is that you start a non-profit organization, especially if this is related to, if this is something that will have to deal with children or education or arts. That could also be the case. Even if you fall in love and you are a member of some kind of non-profit organization, you could meet your lover through this non-profit organization. And if you are in a competitive working environment, your lover, one of your competitors, could become your lover. This is also one of the possibilities. With Venus conjuncting Saturn, Venus generally rules your lovers, right, your fifth house, and Saturn rules your eighth house and your ninth house. So we have a possible scenario of a dark, mysterious stranger, for example, here. For you guys who are already in relationships and happy with your relationships, this is a good time to have fun together, to rekindle your romance, do something for each other, enjoy some time together, especially because lately Mars has been transiting your seventh house. I'm sorry if you hear the noise. I'm rocking in my chair a little bit. Mars has been transiting your 7th house in the past 6 weeks, which could have brought some fights with your partner, right? So this could be a good time to do something fun, like maybe even play a video game or go to a concert together and just relax together. And right after this new moon, Mars moves to Sagittarius, which is your 8th house. No, sorry, Mars moves from Sagittarius to Capricorn, which is your 8th house. And now Mars will be ruling this Venus and Saturn in Scorpio from the 8th house. Now, this is not a very easy combination to have. Saturn in your 6th house, he has been transiting there from November 2014. And when Saturn transits 6th house, he brings a lot of serious work to your everyday life. You most likely have to get up early in the morning, do some heavy repetitive work, which is boring, which is unsatisfying. There could be a lot of power struggles at your workplace. But at the same time, Saturn gives you strength to go through all of that. It gives you determination to, stick, to stay, to not quit, right? And he has been doing this for 2 years now, so you are used to this already. But now when Mars moves to the 8th house, you could, this is not a very stable position, because in the 8th house, Mars will tend to suddenly make decisions, suddenly go up and down, change situations. So this could be the time when you decide to change the job, or there are some even more power struggles at work. There are sudden demands, sudden changes at your workplace, right? This can be a bit tricky. If we are talking about your health, Saturn in the 6th house can bring problems with, if there aren't any other influences, he can bring problems with digestion and with the lower intestine. In the sign of Scorpio, it can be issues with reproductive organs or STDs or urinary infections. And when Mars, who rules the 6th house, moves to the 8th house, it could happen that you are forced to deal with some kind of chronic health issues that you are having. With Mars in Capricorn, if you are prone to problems with bones, this could also bring some issues with that, so be careful about that. Especially because during November, Saturn in your 6th house will be joined by both Mercury, who rules you, and by Sun. So there will be a lot of emphasis on 6th house here for you, which is everyday, boring, repetitive work, things that you have to do, which are not fun, but you have to do them if you want to keep the things that you want to have. Now, when all of this moves to the 8th house, there could be everyday emergencies, like you suddenly have to do this, you suddenly have to do that, you have to go here, run there, unexpected things happen. So it can be a bit stressful. A good way to use this energy effectively, because the energy is going to be there, that there is no question about that, but nothing is set in stone. Your destiny is not set in stone. You have your free will. If you know where to direct the energies, everything can be used productively. So the way to use this energy productively would be to do some research work every day, because Mars in Capricorn has the patience and has the intellect to do that kind of stuff. With the new moon in your 5th house, which is extremely creative, and this Mars in the 8th house, you could revolutionize your everyday work. Why not? With Mars in the 8th house, you can have this revolutionary energy in you. With a new moon in the 5th house, you could have some brilliant creative ideas. So if you are up for anything like that, go ahead. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. At the same time, Mars, which is now in your 8th house, rules your 11th house, and the 11th house is where you reap the investments from the 5th house, right? And we said that the 5th house is any kind of investment where you don't know how much you will gain or whether you will gain, like stocks or gambling or investing in some kind of uncertain projects. So with the 11th lord, who gives results from these investments, there could be sudden gains or sudden losses here. And there could be really sudden ups and downs here. But since Mars is sitting in Saturn's house and Saturn is sitting in Mars's house, these guys are going to be working together. This is not an easy energy, but if you use it productively, you can still gain a lot from it. If there is a possibility, Mars in the 8th house could spend other people's money, which is, if they just give it to you, this is not so bad, right? Also, if you're doing any kind of research, there could be gains from research here. Jupiter is also aspecting your 8th house at the moment and looking at this Mars from the 4th house, which means that you really can use this to your benefit and to make something stable out of that, something that will give you like a firm foundation from a tricky or a difficult situation. However, this is great for people who are psychologists, psychiatrists, astrologers who are working in health services, military services, secret services, emergency rooms. This is going to be a good period for you guys. Now, on the 9th November, Mercury, who rules your 1st house, at the same time rules your 4th house, and Jupiter is in the 4th house now, is moving to the 6th house. So let's say if you guys have decided to move recently and you want to be somebody's tenant, like to rent a place, this could be the time when you start looking for that and maybe finally find the place in December. Also, those of you who have decided to move, this could be the month when you move, because Mercury also rules your 4th house, right? Jupiter is operating there. He started operating there on the 11th of August. So that was the time period when the door opened for you guys to move house, probably to a bigger place or a new place. Some of you guys even abroad, why not? It also opened the possibilities that your partner moves in with you. And when Mercury, who rules this Jupiter from the 4th house, joins the new moon in Swati Nakshatra, Swati Nakshatra indicates movement. So there are strong possibilities to move, especially because this new moon is in the 2nd to the 4th, so it is going to support all the activities of movement, which may have started in the 4th house. Okay, on the 7th of November, Venus, who is your 5th lord, but also your 12th lord, moves to the 7th house. Now, Venus in the 7th house usually brings a very strong desire for partnerships, and with this desire comes a very strong need to please our partners. But this Venus is going to have it a bit difficult because she's kind of smashed from Saturn in the 6th and Mars in the 8th. They exchanged places, so they're working together to smash the poor Venus in the 7th house. And Venus in the 7th house brings strong desire. So if you started dating someone during the new moon in Libra, it could be that now you would like to take things seriously with them, become exclusive, because in the 7th house we become very exclusive and serious. But then again, you have so much work to do, you have so much emergencies that you have to deal with on an everyday basis, that this is not so possible. For you guys who are in serious relationships, it could be that your partner is going through some difficult period at the moment. They have strong chances to be promoted this year, and for that they likely have to travel a lot around, or they have to move houses because of that, or they can't rest. There is just too much work to do, too much things to prepare, and they're very tired by now. But still, at this time period, they will feel that they have to go out and make that money. So they could be a bit nervous, and even their health could suffer with this kind of placement. Okay. Also, because Mars rules your 11th house, from the 8th house, it could be that your friends are picking on your relationship, having something against your relationship. That I already said that everyday difficult and boring work and routine doesn't allow for enough time for you guys to enjoy in your relationships. And this is not going to be an extremely strong influence during the whole month, but you could feel it at some point during the month of November until December. This mess is over. The last important thing that is happening this month is a full moon in Aries in the 11th house. And this, whenever we have a full moon, this is the area where we get results. This is the area where the spotlight is thrown there. It's either, if we're talking about our internal processes, we become aware of something, or if we are talking about material manifestations in our life, this is the area where we finally see the results of something. Something has come full circle, and now voila, you see what's the result of the whole cycle. This new moon could bring you gains, and if you made some investments in the first 2 weeks of November, these could even be very fast gains from those investments. This new moon could also bring you popularity. I'm sorry. This could be the time when you want to go networking, want to go partying, want to be making new connections. 11th house is a very public house, but then the planet which rules this is Mars, who is in your 8th house. So again, this can either be for some of you guys that you secretly join some kind of group. For those of you guys who are interested in those kinds of things, that can be entering some secret circle or secret society. And since this month, this full moon is happening in the nakshatra called Kritika in Aries, Kritika has this fiery quality to it. The sign of Aries also has a very fiery quality to it, and the tendency of Critica is to purify things. Now, what would be the manifestation of purifying your network circle? Well, it could mean that you just cut off some people who do not wish you well. It could also be the time when, okay, some of you guys will see some gains coming to you, but others can decide to quit or to finish, cut off one of your sources of income. That is also possible, especially with this Mars in the 8th. He is not a very stable position. For those of you guys who have been working towards some great achievements, this is a great full moon, because Critica does bring great achievements. It supports being in the limelight, and in the 11th house, everything is big, everything is great. Achievements are great, our hopes are great, dreams are great, wishes are great. With Mars ruling this new moon in the 8th house, you could have sudden windfalls. If you are in the profession, any kind of profession, 8th house profession, which can be psychology, psychiatry, any kind of research. It is also a very good position for engineering, for people who are solving problems, any kind of problem solving which involves a lot of research and in-depth work. 8th house also supports that. Surgeons, people who are working in the ER, police officers, military services, secret services, secret government services. This could be the month to get that promotion, to get that windfall, to have your hopes and dreams and wishes come true. This could be the time for some great achievements when you are suddenly put in the spotlight among your circle of friends. Critica is very successful in public life, but one tendency of it can be that it can be quarrelsome and not so diplomatic. So with Mars in the 8th, it could bring you quarrels with friends. If you don't want that to happen, be careful. Try to use some of that diplomacy from the Sun in Libra, right? So to sum this up, the period from the new moon, 30th of October to the 14th of November, was a great time to start new things related to the 5th house. Now, period around the full moon is the time to reap some results of the 11th house, and after that things will slowly calm down, become more less hectic, let's say. Yes, less hectic, although you will still have a lot of work to do because your 6th house is full, so you will have to do a lot of boring everyday tasks all the time, but it will be much less hectic and sudden in the second half of November. Now the next lunar cycle that we are going to have starts on November the 29th. I will see you guys before that to discuss which areas of your life this is going to affect and how to best navigate and make use of these energies. Until then, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you find it useful and will make the most out of it. Have a great November, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.